Hello and welcome back to my YouTube channel, and today I want to talk about the real estate in the exotic North African country of Morocco and give you 10 reasons why I think this could be a good market to invest in. So let's get straight down to it. Number one, Morocco is pro-landlord. So you can, as a landlord, freely negotiate the rent with the tenant. You can also insist on having 2 months deposit and a guarantor as well. So if your tenant doesn't pay, you can legally chase the guarantor for any debts that are owed. Number two, what I love about Morocco, it's a very, very young population. So the median age is actually below 30 at 29. And the birth rate is 2.4 per couple, which although coming down is still very high. And this can only be good for the real estate market. Number three, the Moroccan dirham is a very, very stable currency. Indeed, it's been more stable than some more developed currencies against the US dollar. So let's take one example. The Great British Pound has been less stable against the US dollar over the last 10 years than the Moroccan dirham. Number four, foreign investment is encouraged. So with foreign real estate, you can literally buy anything other than agricultural land. So you can buy apartments, riads, houses. The only thing that's off limits is agricultural land. Other than that, the Moroccan government really does encourage foreign investment in real estate. Number five is what I call the legal stability and freedom of the country. So if you take European countries have a lot of operations in Morocco, in particular France. France has over 500 subsidiaries in Morocco that employ more than 65,000 people. And two of the big companies I can name are Total and Renault. But it's not just France. Many other countries have operations in North African country of Morocco. So we can take another two examples of Nestlé and Dell, which have been operating in this country for many, many, many years. Number six, the ever-growing number of tourists visiting Morocco. So back in 2008, I should say, there were 8 million tourists visiting Morocco. 11 years later, only 11 years later, this has grown to 13 million. That's quite a significant growth in a reasonably short space of time. Number seven, what I really, really think is important is the significant government reforms and projects that have gone on in Morocco recently. So if you take King Mohammed VI, he's considered as a very, very forward-looking monarch. And look at what's happened in Morocco over the last few years. So new civil rights, including social equality for women and freedom of expression. The Berber language has been instilled as a national language along with Arabic. The judiciary has a lot more independence than it used to have. And look at the projects, the new high-speed rail link between Casablanca and Tangier, which has cut the time from 4 hours and 45 minutes to 2 hours and 10 minutes. And indeed, the rail links in Morocco are getting better all the time. What I also like there is the new airport that's going to be built in Marrakesh, which is due for opening 2025. That's actually an additional new airport in Marrakesh, and this will increase business and tourism in the country. Added to that, there's going to be new terminals built in other airports in Morocco. Number eight, what I also like is that the prices in Morocco are not amazingly high. Granted, they're not amazingly low, but if you take, for example, Marrakesh, it's still quite reasonable to buy in the city centre at 1,400 US dollars per square metre. And in Fez, it's even less at 1,000 US dollars per square metre. Number nine, the rental yields. The rental yields are quite good in Morocco. They range from about 4 to 7%, depending on where you're buying and what type of property you're buying. So I would actually encourage you, if you're going for a good rental yield, to buy an apartment in Marrakesh where the yield is around 7%. And I'm sure you'll agree with me, that is a very, very good yield. Number 10, the economy. The economy in Morocco has been tremendous over the last 20 to 25 years. So from 1997 to 2009, you had uninterrupted growth. So the GDP was positive every year. Granted, it's come down a little bit over the last few years, but overall, in the last 20 to 25 years, you've seen amazing growth in Morocco. And I think after COVID-19, that will continue. Unemployment is below 10% in Morocco, which is actually better than many Western European countries like Italy, Spain and Greece. And indeed, the total government debt to GDP stands at around 65%. Now, that's an increase over the last few years, and that's happened mainly because a lot more money has been invested because of the Arab Spring and poverty. So they have been very wise in investing more in social structure in the country. But it's still quite low at 66% when you compare it to the EU average, which is a lot higher. And included in that, the economy, you do have a 0% inheritance tax, which is good. Now, what's against this market? Well, in Morocco, yes, you still have quite a high level of corruption. We can't deny that. And the country still needs a long way to go to become developed. It's still a lot less developed than Western Europe, America, and many countries in Asia. Also, the buy-sell costs are quite high. So when you buy a property, you'll pay between 12.5% to 17% extra cost between registration, legal costs, and estate agent costs. These costs are actually all borne by the buyer. There are no costs borne by the seller. Also, if you look at rental income as well. Up until 30,000 Moroccan dirham per year rental income, which is approximately $3,200, you pay 0%. Then there are tiers in between. But if you earn more than 180,000 Moroccan dirham per year in rental yield, which is equivalent to around $19,500, anything above that, you pay 38%, which is quite high. But as I said, there are tiers in between. And if you have a fairly good rental yield and you don't get too much rent, you won't pay too much tax. So again, the more you get in rental yield, the lot more you'll pay in taxes. Now, when it comes to capital gains tax, you'll pay 20% on profits, although there are deductions. But having said that, there is a minimum of 3% of the selling price, even if, as I understand it, even if you don't make any profits, you'll have to pay 3% of the minimum selling price, which is rather unusual. So there are also cons against this market. So overall, should you buy? Yes, I think it's a good market to buy in. If you particularly want to invest in Africa, then this is definitely a good market to invest in. Where should you buy? Well, there are lots of cities you can buy in: Casablanca, Marrakesh, Rabat, Fez, Meknes, Tangier. Take your pick. What are my favorite two places? Casablanca, Marrakesh, and I'll tell you why. Casablanca population density, I should say, is 14,500 per square kilometer. That's one of the highest in the world and is in the top 510. And also, Casablanca is considered the financial capital. So Marrakesh is where most foreign buyers go in. It's a much loved city. It's where most tourists go, and the prices are lower than Casablanca. So in the city center, as I was saying, you can buy for $1,400 per square meter, whereas in Casablanca it's $1,900 per square meter. So these are my favorite two cities to buy in. But of course, there are arguments you can make for other cities like Fez, where it's only $1,000 per square meter. Having said that, in Fez the wages are much lower than Casablanca and Marrakesh. But you can also make arguments for Rabat, which is the political capital. You pay $1,500 per square meter, and Tangier, where you'll pay a bit more at $1,600 per square meter. But do bear in mind, Tangier has quite a high population density. It's higher than Marrakesh, Rabat, and Fez, although it's around half, a bit more than half of that of Casablanca. Anyway, please let me know your thoughts. Please do comment below. Have you bought in Morocco? Are you thinking of buying in Morocco? Where in Morocco are you thinking of buying? Anyway, thanks again for watching this video. Please do like my videos. Please click the subscribe button, and I'll see you in the next video. Thanks ever so much for watching, and bye for now.